Hi there, you're at the Binance Coin Wyckoff analysis session. So last week we talked about is Binance Coin getting for an adjustment, and let's quickly take a look at the charts and see what has happened. So this is the weekly chart of Binance Coin, and previously we put in these tags with question marks because I said, has Binance Coin reached the upthrust of the distribution? And it seems it did, and it finished at this key level, the purple line, at closing at around $845. So last week basically did not recover from there, but then it also bounced from this blue line above 740, and actually more than that is this light blue channel box is still working its magic. So the price closed above the top edge of the box. This week we opened above this box as well, so I can put in the automatic reaction tag over here, and then next we would expect something like a second test. Basically it's going to challenge the purple level again, given sufficient demand over there. As of this moment, the volume isn't very high. The week just started for less than roughly 18 hours. So we'll have to give it time to see whether the price can still stay above this top edge of the light blue box and challenge a second test. So it may end up this point, it may end up somewhere between the purple and this light blue line, and eventually it's either this second test or the LPSY, the last point of supply, because a lot of times after upthrust or after distribution, we see these kind of, like, after the fall there's a little rebound, and then second bounce, third bounce. So this may happen in similar sense. So from a big picture perspective, that's what we're expecting. And in the daily, so while we're here, just to add one more thing, there should be a sign of weakness somewhere as well. So we're at a later point in time that would eventually happen. So last time there was multiple ones, and then eventually it climbed. This time it should exhibit similar behavior. We can observe and see how it eventually turns out. So let's get to the daily chart, and then looking at what we had here, we said it has gone for an upthrust, and was it heading to an automatic reaction? Indeed, it happened all the way till Saturday, and yesterday and today it got a little bit of bounce, so we can take away this question mark. And after this, I already mentioned, similar to what's in the weekly chart, we can expect some form of second test or last point of supply. Basically a bounce and try to see whether there's still sufficient or like remaining demand, and eventually like returns down to a lower level to test these key support lines, the rainbow colors. One thing is this upward channel box is still doing its work over here. You see when the price like shot down just below this blue line at around 740, it climbed above this box, this channel box top edge as well. So if the price can stay above this line and use it as a support, it can continue to move across and eventually test the purple again. If it doesn't, last time I talked about this wedge over here, so if it returns to inside the box but stays above the blue line, the horizontal blue line, then eventually it may come back down to somewhere lower at the inside the blue box. before it reclines again. So those are the possible scenarios that would happen after this upthrust and the automatic reaction. So expect a few more bumps. That's totally normal. And if it really comes back to the light blue box, it won't be a surprise if it breaks the 740 support level. Whether or not there would be an upthrust of the distribution in the daily chart is kind of difficult if we have marked these phases in the weekly chart correct, because if in the weekly it's already the post upthrust of the distribution, the chance of having another high without coming back for accumulation is less likely. I won't say never, because there are always exceptions, but most of the times it should come down for a little bit of accumulation before it gathers sufficient strength to like boost up again. The volume themselves, the red bars are obviously quite high. The green ones, as of this moment, they're still like lower or shorter than the red ones. So if this continues, that means the demand is kind of weakening. So those are the signs that we get. And finally, corner squeeze. The purple are outside of the orange, so there isn't much of a squeeze at the moment, but when the week develops, if we go further down the line, maybe before our next week's session on Binance Coin, a squeeze would have happened, and this time this squeeze may be something that's like pretty crazy, given we're at such a high level. So while you're waiting for my next session on Binance Coin during middle of the week, if this happens, then I hope you have already got your stop loss in place. That's the main thing that always keeps our